That's what happens when you mix C4 with a bean burrito. Now be honest. I'm not the only one with a little bit of shit in their pants right now, am I?
Deadpool was developed by High Moon Studios and published by Activision back in 2013. As some of you may know, this title was actually one of the most expensive games ever developed with a budget of $100 million. For comparison, GTA 5's development cost was $137 million. So with a budget like this game must be really good, right? Not really. Now, to be fair, this game isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Actually, when you're not fighting enemies, the game is a lot of fun. High Moon Studios really nailed the character of Deadpool. He's self-aware, breaks the fourth wall, and cracks a ton of jokes. The game definitely shines during cutscenes, some parts of missions, and when he's interacting with different characters such as Wolverine and Cable.
Lo behold! #1 fangirl is hot!
Deadpool also features quite a bit of villains. I'll be honest, I didn't know a few of them, but thankfully the game gives you the option to learn more about these characters through a little recap given by Deadpool himself. The talented Nolan North lends his voice to the Merc with the Mouth, and he does a great job. If anything, I just wish he had more dialogue, as he'll repeat some of these same jokes during combat. Speaking of combat, that is the game's biggest villain. To defeat enemies, you can mostly button mash your way through them, and if you want to switch it up, there is the auto-locking feature for your guns. No, but seriously, the combat is fun at first, but then you'll quickly realize how repetitive it actually is. It definitely doesn't help that there isn't much variety when it comes to enemy types either. You see this guy right here? He's in every single mission of this game. I wish I was joking. Thankfully, after you defeat waves and waves of enemies in mostly dull-looking areas, you'll be greeted with some great cutscenes. And sometimes High Moon will even switch up the mission designs by turning the game into a platformer, a side-scroller, and so on. This is when Deadpool is at its best. Seriously, when you're not fighting bad guys, you'll have a blast with this game. As far as bonus content goes, there unfortunately really isn't anything. There's no Deadpool comics, no different outfits, or any behind-the-scenes content. I know it's not mandatory to have this stuff in a Marvel game, but it really would have been cool to read some of the older Deadpool comics. Also, they could have got Nolan North to read some of them as well. I don't know, it's just a thought, but it would have been cool. I also found the soundtrack to be surprisingly boring for this game. Maybe that's just because we've been blessed with 2 great movie soundtracks, but in this game there's just no variety and nothing really stands out. It just makes you wonder what this massive budget went into, because it's not the soundtrack, it's definitely not the gameplay, and it's not the graphics either. The game isn't that long, and while it does have some great moments, it definitely doesn't feel like a AAA game from 2013. I mean, for some reason, there's only like a total of 6 or 7 weapons in this game that you can either unlock through progression or just pick up from dead enemies. Also, speaking of the enemies again, sometimes the AI is just like they're not even trying. Here's an example. I went to the bathroom for a few minutes, came back, and this enemy failed to even get close to killing me. Overall, I think this is just an average game. If you enjoy Deadpool as a character, you should enjoy this game more, but if you're not really a fan, it's just gonna be average.
They call me Deadpool, I'm hella fast. Came to murk the bad guys and get some ass. Got blades for days, got guns galore. Got combo moves, evades and more. With bear traps and hand grenades. Pull the pistol like a maniac right in your face. Popping off caps tracks, leave a trail of guts. Sitting on my chair, scratching my nuts. I can't die, I'm invincible, but if you like to try, then I'll crush your skull. Crass and rude, borderline obscene, but I'm the funniest motherfucker that you ever did see. And Wolverine is getting bitch slapped. Wake up, will be no time for a nap. We got a rescue road, ride a roller coaster, grab our gear and head to Genosha.